Well, for further insight on that story, we're now joined by activist and political analyst Sarboz Ruhollah Rezvi, who's joining us from Qom. Also, we have historian, political analyst, and author Marcus Papadopoulos, who's with us from the British capital, London. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Let's start off with Mr. Rezvi in Qom. I'd like you to elaborate on the comments recently made by the leader of the Islamic Revolution as he's called for efforts to dig deep into the origins of such crimes.
Yep. Indeed, security was the main point that Ayatollah Khamenei mentioned. He also mentioned the issue of security before in the previous speech that he had related to the, unrests and the riots that took place in different cities of Iran. No one can analyze what took place, unfortunately, yesterday in the city of Shiraz, regardless of last 40 days of events and unrests and riots in different cities of Iran. What I can observe is clearly that a hybrid war is going on against Iran. And what I say when I say hybrid war, I mean what I said. Look at the events step by step, what took place in Iran. It started all with spreading fake news about the Mahsa Amini beaten to death. Then later on, it continued with street riots. And later on, it continued with normalization of the violence in the street. Different media took a great role, US-backed media, United States of America's medias, Saudi-backed medias. They openly dragged the people and pushed the people towards violence. The Persian, medias in Western countries, they invited openly people for violence without any restriction. Then apparently what we observed were attacks on different Iranian security forces that also took place. Later on, what we observed was the activation of the separatist groups inside Iran, taken from Sistan Balochistan province to Kurdistan province, also to some other parts of Iran, where already there were cells of those separatist groups who were trying to separate those areas from Islamic Republic of Iran. And again, here we observe the role of media, the negative role of the media that was playing, again, taking it quite normal, bringing those belonging to the terrorist groups, separatist groups, to the states that were provided for them, giving them the stage, let them talk, let them speak. Social media also was pumped with so many violent comments. Openly, a part of Iranian diaspora in Western countries, they invited people to the violence, and the result was very clear. Destabilizing the country, targeting the security of the country. And why not a terrorist attack? If you look at it from that perspective, you will find out that, as I said at the very beginning of my points, a hybrid war is going on against Iran. Different, strategies of war against Iran is now being implemented. And one important conclusion that I can get is that the command center for this hybrid war is the same. The one who is bringing people to the streets with lies that are publishing and making viral here and there, are also responsible for what took place in Shiraz yesterday. Daesh, of course, Daesh took the responsibility, but everyone knows that, specifically in recent years, we don't have, Daesh as we, call it Daesh. Daesh is today the title, the brand that's given to several, terrorist activities here and there. Meanwhile, behind them are very clearly those who are against the national security of Iran.
Let's bring in Marcus Papadopoulos in London on the discussion. Mr. Papadopoulos, give us your perspective on the purpose of this attack at this point in time.
Can I first of all start by conveying my condolences to the Iranian people, and in particular the victims and their loved ones of this truly evil terrorist attack. Furthermore, unlike for the average Westerner, the Iranian man and woman is fiercely proud of and will never surrender their history, their heritage, and their cultural and spiritual values. It is for those reasons why Iran and the Iranian people will prevail in the face of terrorism. Now, turning to the terrorist attack in Shiraz, coupled with the recent violent and murderous protests in Iran under the guise of women's rights. The timing of these two events is of immense importance because they fall at a time when Russia is conducting a military campaign in Ukraine, and also Iran enjoys a strategic partnership with the Russian Federation. So when you combine both of those actualities, it is plainly clear for all to see that Iran is being targeted. It is being targeted because of its strategic partnership with Russia. So whoever in the world is targeting Iran is ultimately trying to weaken Russia in order to weaken the Russian campaign in Ukraine. So we know very well that the ultimate principal enemy of Iran, of the Iranian Revolution, and of the Iranian people is the United States of America. And Washington is doing all that it can possibly do, save military and nuclear options, to weaken and defeat Russia in Ukraine. So when we take that into consideration, together with the well-known fact that America, and in particular American intelligence services, have long-standing ties with various terrorist organizations, including ISIS and MEK, I will leave it to your audience to draw their own conclusions as to who is responsible for the targeting of Iran, who is responsible for undertaking a hybrid war against Iran. But for what it is worth, I would personally pinpoint America as being behind this terrorist attack. Again, targeting Iran so as to weaken Russia in Ukraine. So again, Iran, like Russia, is under attack. Iran, like Russia, is being subjected to a hybrid war. But again, the Iranian people are united. The Iranian people are resolute in their determination to defend Iran, to defend their borders, to defend their history, their heritage, and their cultural and spiritual values. So they will overcome even the most heinous, the most evil of terrorist attacks, such as the one in Shiraz.
Back to Mr. Rezvi, the UN Chief Antonio Guterres said that acts targeting religious sites are especially heinous. Why should the terrorists target a holy shrine?
Of course, holy shrines are important for the Iranian people, mostly being, Shia Muslims who are living actually in Iran. And it's not first time that the Shia, Shia pilgrim sites like the shrines are being targeted. Before that, we had visited the previous terrorist attack that took place last year was in the city of Mashhad, where again, a foreigner, because this one, the terrorist that made this act was also a foreign non-Iranian terrorist who entered Iran. Again, the same thing took place in Mashhad. Of course, it has a religious color here, but I think we should not be deceived by this religious or sectarian part of the story. What is behind, as I mentioned, of course, Daesh took the responsibility. ISIS took the responsibility. Their statement came to their platforms, and they mentioned there that the Shia worship place was targeted with the same terminology that they're using. They are not calling that any holy shrine. They're calling that Shia worship places. So, but I believe we should not be deceived with that. Daesh is a surface. We have to find out who is behind Daesh, because Daesh nowadays, anything is taking place. Daesh is issuing a statement. Of course, this statement of Daesh was somehow different from the previous ones. Nothing was mentioned about the identity of the one who did the terrorist attack, because in previous attacks, when someone was committing any terrorist attack, Daesh websites were mentioning the name of the perpetrator. They were introducing him. There were some clips or the information previous to the attack was published. I want to drag the attention of your audience to an important issue. You should know that Shiraz is located in central south of Iran, just next to Sistan Balochistan province, and we know that in recent weeks Sistan Balochistan province was facing unresters. Specifically 3 weeks ago, in the Friday, there were unresters, and there were some casualties also there because of the clashes that took place, the attack that took place towards a military base, a security base, and then the result was some fightings that took place. Yet it's unclear what exactly has taken place in the city of Zahedan. And we all know that. Some separatist Baluch groups are active in that region. They had again and again mentioned that we are going to retaliate for what took place on Friday 3 weeks ago. And exactly yesterday, 26th of October, if we look at the website, attributed to the well-known terrorist organization Jaish al-Adl, or what's known in Iran as Jaish al-Dhulm, we find out that this is the day that in which they uploaded the video that was openly threatening Iranians for taking revenge. And of course, they did not take the responsibility of Shiraz attack clearly, openly. They had not took any responsibility, but it is clear these connections and these affiliations are, I think, very clear. And also we should notice that we should not forget the role of the Zionist regime here. They have been in connection with the separatist and terrorist groups in different parts of Iran. Take it from the what's so-called as South Azerbaijan movement, or the Kurdistan movement, or the Arabs of Ahwaz, what they call it as the separatist movement of Ahwaz. And also the same thing is about Sistan and Balochistan and the Baluch Liberation Army and the connection that the Zionists have with that. And also, I want to drag the attention of the audience to the events taking place nowadays in Palestine, in Nablus, in West Bank. Situations are really critical. Israel is actually facing a nightmare over there because of the new resistant groups are emerging there. They are not ready to surrender. More than dozens of attacks have taken place in recent weeks and months. In a couple of months, actually, I think more than 50 or 60 attacks took place against the Israelis. I think, as I mentioned in the first part of my points, I think the command center is one. We should not forget that there is a command center going on against Iran on this hybrid war. The media is playing its role. The celebrities across the globe, the broadcast media across the globe, the freedom that they are getting in and inviting people to violence and normalization of the violence is really something, disgusting. Sorry to say this word, sorry, but you look at Twitter, look at Instagram, look at the celebrities here and there, how they are openly and frankly, and also the broadcast media, Iran International, for example, they're openly calling for violence and no one is restricting them.
Thanks a lot, gentlemen. Activist and political analyst Sarbo Rezvi joining us from Qom, and historian, political analyst, and author Marcus Papadopoulos joining us from the British capital, London.